It is Locked On NBA Game Night for Wednesday, April 30th. Coming up, the Lakers get bounced, the Timberwolves move on, and the Warriors phone in a potential elimination game.
When that final buzzer rings, you know it's time for Locked On NBA Game Night. All the post-game reactions to every game across the league, every single night, with insights only the hosts at Locked On can provide. It's the true NBA fans' one stop for all the action. Every game, every night. It's Locked On NBA Game Night. Tipping off now.
Welcome to Locked On NBA Game Night. Every game, every night in 30 minutes. Wes Goldberg here with Tony East. However you might be tuning in on YouTube or your favorite podcast app. Thanks for making Locked On NBA your first listen every day. Today's episode is brought to you by Amazon Fire TV Stick 4K. Turn any TV into your Xbox. No console needed. Head to amazon.com/Fire TV Locked On to learn more. Great show for you today. Two teams had a chance to close out their series in advance, but only one did. We will get at least one more game of Warriors Rockets, but the Wolves handled their business and they knocked out the Lakers. We'll talk about the Lakers offseason in a bit, but let's start with the game. Here's Ben Beacon from Locked On Wolves with more.
So the Timberwolves are moving on to the second round of the playoffs after beating the Lakers by 7 in Game 5 to win the series. I'm Ben Beacon, host of the daily Locked On Wolves podcast. And this performance was a weird one. Rudy Gobert with 27 points and 24 rebounds. The only Timberwolves not named Kevin Garnett in franchise history to have a 2020 playoff game after basically not scoring across the first 4 games of the series. He went 12 for 15 from the floor. Along the way, Anthony Edwards just 15 points on 19 shots in this game, 0 of 11 outside the arc. The Wolves were 7 of 49, a historically bad 14.9% on three-point shots. But guess what? The Wolves had 18 offensive rebounds. They attempted 11 more shots than the Lakers in this game. They got to the line 33 times. They were aggressive going downhill to the basket, and they held the Lakers, most importantly, to just 96 points. A really impressive closeout of the series for the Wolves on the road. We're going to break the whole thing down over at Locked On Wolves.
So, Tony, the story of the game, obviously, is Rudy Gobert. The Lakers went small. They took Jackson Hayes out of the starting lineup, started Dorian Finney-Smith, and then never played Hayes in this game, with the entire game without a center. Meanwhile, the Wolves had twice as many second chance points as the Lakers. Rudy Gobert was a game high plus 18. What were your thoughts on JJ Redick's decision to not only go small, but also stay small?
In some ways, long overdue. I mean, Hayes was not good in this series, and I picked the Lakers to win the series, and I have to take a huge L on that because in the regular season, Hayes was good-ish. Went after the Luka trade, not before that. And I thought he'd at least be like useful enough for 10 or 15 minutes. And he was not at all. I mean, JJ tipped it last game in the whole second half. He didn't play anybody really at all, but also not Hayes. And, you know, the consequence of that is, hey, sometimes Rudy Gobert is just like a monster on the glass. And I think all 3 of Gobert's misses were on that same possession in the middle of the second quarter where he just like missed 3 tip layups in a row and they didn't go in. But and every other play he finished like he was a monster going against smaller players and the extra chances mounted. And I understand why JJ did what he did. They needed skill so bad. They couldn't keep up with the Wolves. Their stars weren't giving them enough, but they lost that trade-off in this game. The Wolves did not play well at all, but they just had enough size to muscle it out.
Yeah, so I understood the reasoning to go small. But part of the reason you go small is to get the benefits of going small. Spread out the other team, get up more threes, get more open layups at the basket, potentially force some turnovers. And the Lakers really didn't do any of that outside of a couple of Jared Vanderbilt scurries to create some turnovers. And they got up 37 threes, but Minnesota got up more, which might be a problem if you think about the size advantage that they had. But they didn't really. You're watching that game, and I'm like, I don't really see the benefits of the Lakers being small right now, other than like early on being able to double Anthony Edwards pretty easily. But even then, the defense got spread out. The Lakers defense got spread out in a way that I don't think they wanted to. And Minnesota pretty much got whatever they wanted, and they missed 40 of their 3-point attempts in this game, but they got a lot of really good 3-point attempts. Like, look. This game was close at the end. This could have easily have been a blowout. Easily. If the Wolves make half of the open shots that they got in this game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was easy for them to get them. And like late in the game, okay, Finney Smith's your center, I guess. I don't know who you want to call the center, Rui, whatever. He's on Ant. Okay, great. Bron's on whoever, DiVincenzo, Nazarid, whoever the next offensive guy is. So Luka's on Julius Randle with a bad back, and Julius Randle's like, great, I'm just going to run through him or around him every single play. Like this guy, he hit the floater that was effective with a dagger before the real dagger. Like they couldn't stop him with the small size that they had. And Minnesota, I mean, and Edwards threes are just like whatever for the quality. He's so good at getting threes up, it doesn't matter. But yeah, you don't take 47 threes and you have like a lot of bad ones. You're taking 47 threes because you love your looks, right? So yeah, a bunch of them, and it's insane that they won a game missing 43s. That's people who hate the modern NBA are gonna be like, see, this stinks, even though they won the game. So yeah, I think their offensive process was awesome, and they were unlucky that they missed so many. But the Lakers shot like crap too. Like this was the Wolves were bad and won a road game in the playoffs. Like that is unreal.
Anthony Edwards, I thought, was really good in this game. I thought, or I should say, he played a really great floor game. We saw the big scoring game from Anthony Edwards in this series, but he goes 0 for 11 from three-point range. Not great. But the Lakers were doubling him early, and then Minnesota figured out, okay, like we're not going to run these, kind of close quarter pick and rolls anymore. We're going to try to spread these actions out and spread around the Lakers defense. And then they ended up getting Anthony Edwards in isolation against Luka a lot in the second half, and he ate on those matchups. Again, not always scoring, but driving, collapsing the defense, and spraying out the shooters. I loved his 8 assists.
Me
8
too.
assists to 0 turnovers. Anthony Edwards did not turn the ball over for pretty much the entire series. I think he had less than 10 turnovers the entire series as their lead playmaker. I did not expect that. He made a leap, not only with the scoring and everything that we know about, but he made a leap in this series, I think, just as a playmaker. Again, I don't know that the Lakers defense made it hard for him, but I want to give him a ton of credit because he was just making the right read out of those double teams every single time. Got the ball to the middle of the floor, and then that player he only got 8 assists, credited for 8 assists. He was responsible for so many more hockey assists in this game. I thought he was fantastic.
Well, also, you're only not going to get a lot of assists when your teammates don't make a single jump shot the entire game.
Great point.
Right?
Great
It'd
point.
be tough. Yeah, you and I did one of these game nights during the season. They played the Pelicans, and he had like 30-something points. And I remember saying to you, like, eventually he's just going to get these little simple passes down when he sees pressure, and it's going to lead to something. And that never happened in the regular season. I was like, dang, maybe I'm just dumb. Nope, here it is. He waits till the big stage. He's ready to do it. Like, no problem. Oh, here come 2 Lakers. Great, you got this, Dante. It's just, I just cannot believe this game. That McDaniels barely played. He was awesome all series. He fouled out. DiVincenzo, Conley, and Edwards were a combined 10 for 39, and they won the game. The Lakers were terrible in this, like a lot of the series.
We already talked about the small ball stuff with them and Jackson Hayes being played out of the series. Let me ask you a question. Do the Lakers lose this series 4-1 if they have Anthony Davis and not Luka Doncic in the lineup?
If I were like the most petty Mavs person ever, I would be tweeting right now that after the regular season, both the Mavs and Lakers won 1 game. Shout out to the play-in tournament for making that possible, because it's true. Yeah, I mean, probably. I don't know.
I don't think they lose 4-1.
Luka was really good for most of the series. His defense was really bad though.
Austin Reeves was really bad also.
Reeves is
if you get a better Reeves series and Anthony Edwards and Anthony Davis.
Yeah. I will look back at this as an Edwards series, like for me being wrong about this, but also Reeves was really tough. He even I was just reading quotes before we started, like he even admitted that this was a very bad series for him, which is good. He has to know that. And the whole premise of the Lakers being good enough on offense with like the size to defend is they have 3 guys who can do it, and they didn't in this series. Like even LeBron's awesome. He's a really good offensive player, but like I thought his defense was better than his offense in this series. I don't know what you think on that. And like Luka was great. He had these amazing quarters. He had an amazing third quarter again today after hurting his back, but they just never got enough from Reeves from ball handling or playmaking or anything to really make it a 3-headed monster. And they had to be reliant on like Hachimura jumpers or Braun doing stuff or whatever. And it just, you can't rely on that kind of stuff. Their bench, no one made a shot off their bench. I mean, I know they barely played, but like they needed Reeves to do anything more than this. And he didn't not the entire series, but most of it.
There's a lot to get into with the Lakers. We're going to talk about what their offseason could look like in a later segment. But coming up next, the Rockets extended their series against the Warriors. But are the Warriors actually in trouble of blowing a 3-1 lead? We'll talk about that next year on Locked On NBA Game Night. Today's episode of Locked On NBA Game Night is brought to you by Amazon Fire TV Stick 4K. Did you know that your Fire TV is also an Xbox? Turn any TV into your gaming and entertainment hub with the Fire TV Stick 4K device. No console required. Just grab your paired controller, subscribe or sign in to your Xbox Game Pass Ultimate with EA Play included, and you're ready to go. Dive into hundreds of premium titles, including EA Sports' College Football 25 to Call of Duty, as easily as you stream your favorite shows. What if you could jump into your favorite Xbox titles without needing your console in every room? How do you game and you're not in front of your main setup, hotel stays, family visits, just even in your own bedroom? Fire TV Stick 4K makes it possible to keep playing from almost anywhere. Already have a console? A Fire TV Stick 4K device is more affordable and easier to travel with, allowing you to take you and your kids' games whenever you want to plug in. So head to amazon.com/FireTVLockedOn to get started. Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscription and compatible controller required. Available on select devices, including Fire TV Stick 4K 2nd Gen, Fire TV Stick 4K Max 1st and 2nd Gen, and Fire TV Cube 3rd Gen. We'll be right back. Thanks for making Locked On NBA Game Night every game, every night your first listen. The best way to support the show is to subscribe on YouTube and on your favorite podcast app. Let's go to Houston, where the Rockets blew out the Warriors to extend the series. This one was over pretty much right away. Here's Jackson Gatlin from Locked On Rockets with more.
For the Houston Rockets, and they came out on top in Game 5 against the Warriors, 131-116, forcing a Game 6. What's up? This is Jackson Gatlin, host of Locked On Rockets, and this was a game that the Rockets quite literally needed to keep their season alive, and they performed exactly how you would want them to with their backs against the wall. A flat-out dominant performance. Came out of the gates, all cylinders firing. Offense looked the best that it has this entire series. They were facilitating through Alperen Şengün. Guys were knocking down shots. Fred VanVleet had a very quick 14 points in the first quarter on his way to a team-high 26 points for the game. Amin Thompson was fantastic on both ends, really settling into the series, getting downhill, finishing at the rim. He had 25 points and 8 stocks in this one. The rest of his stat line, it's just the third time in NBA history that a player has recorded the stat line that Amin Thompson had in this one, joining Rick Barry and Hakeem Olajuwon. Some elite company for him. But this game wasn't perfect. Even though the Rockets were up by 30-something, and midway through the third quarter, Steve Kerr pulled his starters, waved the white flag. The reserves for the Warriors actually cut the deficit down to 17 in the fourth quarter. Ime Udoka forced to reinsert his starters to close this one out. But the Rockets get the win. They force a Game 6, and they'll be headed back out to the Bay to see if they can extend the series a little bit further to a Game 7.
Thanks to Jackson Gatlin for
We've been
that.
lied to. We've been lied to. The lead was cut to 13. I only know that because I remember the exact score of Pat Spencer getting ejected. Why does Pat Spencer keep playing so good? Why is Pat Spencer so mad he's getting ejected? That doesn't matter. Anyway.
Maybe the most eventful 13 minutes in playoff history. Just comes in, no, not expected to, just comes in, goes 5 of 7 for 11 points, cuts this lead in, makes Ime Udoka and the Houston Rockets sweat, then headbutts one of the Rockets star players and then gets ejected.
Jimmy got hurt too.
All with a mustache. All with a mustache.
Sorry. That's
no,
not
it's great. Look, great win by the Rockets, okay?
Yes.
They deserve the win. The story here is the Warriors. This one was over right away. Houston starts the game basically with a 15-0 run. They were up by 20 to start the second quarter. They never really looked back. I know they cut the lead to 13 or whatever, and they had to put the starters back in and all that stuff. This thing was over, all right? And I don't know that the Warriors are going to lose this series, but I really don't like when teams don't take advantage to close out a series, especially an older one like Golden State. And the broadcast even talked about how in their pregame interview with Steve Kerr, Steve was talking about how, you know, if we don't win this one, I might, or if this thing's not going the way I want, we could actually pull our starters because we need rest because these games are a day in between and whatever. And I'm just like, I was like, that's weird to talk about right away. You have a chance to just win this game and not deal with the one game breaks because you'll just advance to the next round. I don't know. I don't like when you play with your food. Again, I don't know that the Warriors are going to lose the series. Probably not. But I still, it makes me queasy. I don't like it.
Yeah, you just never know, right? Like, okay, now you have a home game. Like, what if Fred VanVleet's awesome again, right? What if I'm in Thompson? Like Jackson just said, like he's gotten better and better throughout the series. Like, what if he's awesome again, right? Like it's not the Rockets don't have a good half court offense, but they're not like incapable of scoring. Like they have good players on their team still. You just never know what's going to happen. And the Warriors, like, yeah, they have two awesome high-end talent players. There's a lot of guys with high variance, and like. Even if your premise is like you're ready to pull your starters, dog, you're down 30, 17 minutes into the game. Like, give me something. That was pathetic and terrible. And like, you got to give the Rockets credit for playing well enough to take them out of being themselves a little bit. But I do agree that like the Lakers stormed back, so it didn't end up mattering. But I was prepared to come into this podcast with the theme of like, did we just see like two veteran teams just quit like immediately? Like that Lakers first quarter was rough too.
Mm-hmm.
It was really, the Warriors were just weird.
Yeah, so look, the Warriors, they did lose by 39 points in a second round game to the Grizzlies in 2022, and they went on to win the championship. So my alarm bells sounded in 2022 and I was wrong. So I'm trying not to overreact to this, but like game 6 feels like a must win though for Golden State, because their role players stink in Houston. Buddy Hield goes off for maybe the playoff game of his life in San Francisco in game 4, goes into game 5, stinker in this game. Pods has been bad on the road. Like you said, you go into, if Houston goes into Golden State and Fred VanVleet goes off for 30-something points, or Jalen Green has one of his good Jalen Green games, and they extend this thing and bring it back to Houston for 7, I think the Warriors are in real trouble, because their role players have not played well in Houston. They only won one game in Houston because Steph Curry just went out of his mind and made impossible shot after impossible shot. And that was when Jimmy Butler looked a lot better physically than he does right now. I'm telling you, we could look back on this. I'm not trying to overreact. The Warriors have they had 3 chances to win one game. Now they have 2 chances to win one game, but it doesn't make me feel good, because the Rockets are the team with the home court advantage, and that could end up mattering.
I agree. Like you're now one variance loss away from things not being great, and like variance might even not be the way to put it. Like the Rockets have had 2 games in this series when they won and they were the better team. It wasn't just like some fluky nonsense. I get that Jimmy Butler was hurt, but like they were better today with Jimmy playing. Like they're not bad. Like that's what feels so weird about this. Like if you're playing some crap team twice in a row, whatever. Like the Rockets are good. They won 50-something games.
Did they find something sustainable with this win? Because you were mentioning the variance part of it. Do you think that they figured out the Warriors? Or, do you think they figured out the Warriors? Do you think they figured out how to beat this team?
Can you actually figure out the Warriors? Like, you can't. No one can stop Steph. You just can't, right? I know he didn't play well today. I notoriously was joking to you before we started recording. Like, if Kevin Knox outscores Steph Curry, you lost the game. Like, they didn't do anything well today, but you don't really figure them out. You just kind of hope you make it hard enough on Steph that the rest of the team can't really flow. And like Draymond was their best starter probably today, and that's usually a good sign, but no one else got going. But I don't really know if you can, air quotes, figure out the Warriors. I'm not even saying that's like poo-poo your question. I don't think it's possible to do. It's just sometimes you defend them well enough to win, or you score enough that they can't keep up with you, and that happened tonight. Certainly 131 for the Houston Rockets. Are you kidding me? But I just, it's still going to be tough for the Rockets. But if a man is really this good, like part of the appeal of picking Houston, which I did, I might be just a terrible Western Conference predictor, is like he was a game wrecker against the Warriors, albeit in a regular season setting. And like if that's a thing that is happening again, okay, like good freaking luck, everybody. That guy's amazing.
Their defense has actually been pretty good for this series. It's just obviously been the offense that's been the problem. But they're usually just one outlier performance away from being functional enough on offense to win games. They got a couple of really big games. The Amin Thompson, Fred VanVleet. Go ahead. I
am thrilled about the Steven Adams playoff renaissance also. This is so out of nowhere and awesome, right? Like he's been really good. And that is something figured out. It's just
they don't have an answer for Steven Adams.
Bruising, rebounding center who, like, if that ball is within like it's like there's like gravitational orbit around his hands. Like if he's close enough to it, he just gets it. Like the Warriors have nothing for that. Looney is their like, I guess, kind of button they push for that, but they don't. I don't
And
think
he's not
Steve
been
Kerr,
good this series.
I mean, you covered Looney. Like I don't think Steve Kerr likes pushing the Looney button. He just wants to have a center just in case. You know, it's just how it is.
Yeah, look,
love it.
their defense has been good. I think they did find some stuff in their pick and roll attack in this game. They're really stretching out Golden State's defense and letting Jalen Green get downhill. Obviously, the big wild card in that is Jalen Green. Is it a good Jalen Green day or is it a bad Jalen Green day? But
Yes.
I thought this series was already closer than 3-1, and now it literally is closer to 3-1. It's 3-2. I don't know. I might sound like an idiot, but I'm just. I don't think the Warriors are in the clear, and I think that they should have come out with a lot more.
If Jimmy doesn't get hurt, it could have been over already. But at the same time, like the Rockets have played pretty. I don't know.
Jimmy is hurt. He's more hurt now than if he looks like he did in this game in San Francisco in a couple days, that's going to be a problem for the Warriors.
And hey, if they win, no problem. You get Ant Edwards, who has the plot armor, and Rudy Gobert, who just had one of his best playoff performances. Good luck, everybody.
We're going to take a look ahead to an important offseason for the Lakers, who might be only, one piece away, despite losing in the first round this season. We'll talk about that next year on Locked On NBA Game Night. Let's talk offseason for the Lakers, Tony. Is it as simple as just adding a center? Are they just that one piece away in your mind?
Yes, they are Dalton Connect and a pick for Mark Williams away from. I had to get the joke in. Mark Williams got the joke in. If you haven't seen it, Mark Williams, 2 seconds after the series ends, tweets a smiling face emoji.
No.
Hilarious. So that made me want to make that joke. But yes, they need a center so bad. And especially like we've seen it with Luka, exactly what that center is. Screen, dive, lob, center specifically.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not.
Do you think Mark Williams would have changed this series?
No.
Me neither. They need that center is Mark Williams, but they need a better than Mark Williams.
Dude, I don't even know. Like maybe I'm crazy. Like I don't think Mark Williams is that good of a defensive player. Like people talk about him like he's like, oh, this would have been great as a rim protector. I'm like, I get that no one watches the Hornets, but like he's not that good at that. Like I don't.
No, it would have been a bet. It would have been a bet that you could develop.
And like and Jackson Hayes was good post Luka trade. Like centers who can do the thing will look good with Luka, right? And Derek Lively is like the perfect prototype in a lot of ways, right? He looked awesome as a rookie. And again, it's like these centers are very valuable to any good passer, right? They're not easy to get, but that is like to a T what they need because Hayes' defense was awful and like his hands aren't good enough. And does he make contact with anyone on his screens? Like it doesn't do anything. It doesn't help enough in a postseason. When teams are dialed into his tendencies, clearly he's ineffective. Derek Lively helped the Mavs make the finals. Daniel Gafford helped the Mavs make the finals. And he's not like quite the lobby threat kind of guy, but he's a good screen dive. I can finish around the basket player. So that type of guy, I'm not going to think of specific names. That type of player. Yes. And they need more shooting as well. But
they need more shooting. If they can get a dead eye shooter, maybe it's just Dalton Connect develops into that guy and he's playable and he's a dead eye shooter. And you're not trading him for that center that you need.
When you have that weird of a season, like, are you going to be back? Like the team showed you how they feel about you.
Yeah.
It's got
to they probably need one dead eye shooter that you feel really good about. Like a Luke Kennard type would make a lot of sense on that team potentially. But
you know who they could maybe get? Like Rashawn Holmes from the Wizards. Like he might be a decent fit. He's got that goofy floater. He's decent on lobs. He might be cheap to acquire. I'm just trying to think.
They probably need a couple of guys though, right? Because if Jackson Hayes can't play at all, and he's a free agent, by the way, so you're probably not going to bring him back.
Yeah.
They need a starter, and they probably need another one.
Clint Capella's a free agent. That seems like that will be linked to many times in the summer. He did well with Trey. Like he's got that kind of skill set down already.
Look, if they just had the two names that you just mentioned, if they had Capella, Rashawn Holmes, I don't know, but like if they had Capella, well, Capella's also injured. I don't know. I have no idea.
Rashawn Holmes' parents put up adorable videos every time his teams win, and he was on the Wizards, so that never happened this year. So I was very bummed.
How do you know what Rashawn Holmes' parents are putting up on social
Because
media?
I was a Wizards fan as a kid, and I keep up with the lore of the Washington Wizards. Clint Capella is the answer if he is a free agent. I guarantee that link comes. Shooters like pick anyone, right? Like every team has an endless goal of better efficiency per possession, right? Duh. But especially with Reeves missing, you could really see like they're like, it's not that they don't like Jared Vanderbilt. He's good, but it's like, dang, we got to go to this guy who just doesn't even look at the rim level shooter. And Gabe Vincent didn't make shots either. Like they need shooting bad.
Yeah. Jared Vanderbilt is Ben Simmons without the bad PR a little bit. Like it's
Ty Lue would turn Jared Vanderbilt into a 30-minute per game starter, but on the Lakers, it does not fit very well.
a couple other things that the Lakers have to deal with. LeBron and Dorian Finney-Smith both have player options. They can't afford to lose Finney-Smith, I don't think. And obviously, I don't know why I led with Finney-Smith. They obviously also cannot afford to lose LeBron James, although I don't think we anticipate
I would
that
change
happening.
what they need in the offseason if they lose LeBron. They would need a very, very good second best player. Yes.
Yes, that's right. Rashawn Holmes would not save them then. They can trade 1 first-round pick. They also have 5 swaps that they can move around. So they've got a couple of things that they can move, and some of these contracts are chunky enough to kind of move up in salary and go get a piece. But to go back to the original question, is it just okay? Let's say they solve the center issue, and then obviously bring back LeBron and Finney-Smith. I actually do think that they could get right back to competing. I think they can compete for a championship next year. I really do. That need was so glaringly obvious, and it would be obvious against Minnesota or Denver, potentially San Antonio next year. Obviously Oklahoma City. Like they just so desperately need that position, and they don't have a single guy who could play it at a playoff level, that if they would literally be going from a 0 to a something if they just get something there, and that is a huge difference. You plug in a center who could start and finish playoff games with Luka, LeBron, Finney-Smith, Rui Hachimura, Austin Reeves, all these guys. I think that dramatically changes what the Lakers look like next year.
LeBron is currently doing his exit interview, Wes.
Mm-hmm.
Lakers LeBron James on challenge of playing center. No comment. My guy, referring to Anthony Davis, my guy said what he needed, and he was gone the following week. Yikes.
What? Oh, no. He also said that playing alongside his son ranks as the #1 accomplishment on his career scoreboard.
I was hoping he would talk about his future so we could very easily do this segment, and instead it's kind of like, oh, this is not how I expected him to talk. I imagine he will play another year. He looked very good all season, but like that would obviously be.
So is this a joke? LeBron saying, I'm not going to say I don't want to play center because he's got a no trade clause. He's not going to get traded.
Jovan Buha said his response in a joking tone, so he might have been a little more silly.
All right. Well, I'm glad LeBron is joking after his team was eliminated.
Jovan, excuse me. Dorian Finney-Smith said he hasn't thought about his player option for 2025-26 yet. Ah, yes. Guy who signed contract has not thought about said contract. The biggest lie in the NBA.
Yeah, the classic. What? I'm a free agent. What even is
LeBron
that?
did say he does not know how much longer he plans to play. I imagine he'll pick up his option.
Yeah, and he's got to come back for one more year. Luka didn't look right physically, basically the moment this season started, and then the moment he got back with the Lakers, and he didn't look right in this game either. I know that he was hobbled by the lower back injury in the middle of the game and stuff, but he's never really looked right. That's another big priority, I think, for the Lakers. Make sure that Luka is getting right for the next year.
And I wonder what his motivation level will be after basically getting called fat after being traded and out of shape. Like, how much of it is there a shove it element to his training regime? Does Slovenia, isn't there Eurobasket this summer or something too? Like he might actually be playing in meaningful games.
Yeah. I mean, Eurobasket is this summer. I don't know what his plans are in terms of competing with Slovenia, but yeah, I mean, he's got to get right. He was bad defensively in this game, and
Randall just went right at him, and he was hurt. Like I get it, but not good.
He can't be doing that. All right, we'll see what happens with the Lakers this offseason. We'll see what happens for the rest of these first round series. That wraps up Locked On NBA Game Night. Every game, every night. Make sure you are subscribed on YouTube and wherever you get your podcast. For Tony East, I'm Wes Goldberg, and this has been Game Night. Thanks for hanging out with us.